corsets. They are quite straightforward and simple to make and also very easy to mess up. And that's exactly what happened during this project. But let's go back to the beginning. I started this project on a good note. I started drafting a pattern for the corset directly on the fabric, which usually won't be a problem as this is not my first time doing so. So I divided the fabric into half and I also split that half into another half. So now we have half and quarter on both sides. Then I begin to mark out my measurements, the chest line, the bust, the under bust, and the full length of my corset. And for some reason, I also did this on the right side of the fabric. Should have just known something was going to go wrong with this project. But anyways, I digress. I couldn't decide if I wanted the corset to have a spaghetti strap or an extended strap. But finally, I settled on the spaghetti strap and I fixed that on the pattern. And I also went ahead to duplicate that on the lining. The lining was not enough, so I'm going to be doing a bit of a joining on the lining. As you can see, the lining is not enough, so that's the part we're going to be joining. And I also went ahead to cut out 2 long straps that we're going to be using for the spaghetti straps, and the measurement was about 7 inches. But anyways, let's go to the sewing board where I explain the rest. So here we are. Then I'm just going to be joining the linings together. As I said from the beginning of the video that it was not enough, so I have to join that side together. So after pinning, I quickly went ahead to fold and pin the straps together, and I also used a zigzag stitch to sew it. It's not compulsory to use a zigzag stitch. I just felt like doing that. I just felt a little bit extra. But I quickly did that so that I'll be able to sandwich it in between the main fabric and the lining. That's at the neckline towards the armhole for both sides so that we can have 2 straps. So after joining the lining together, I also went ahead to pin it with the main fabrics because now they're already the same measurement. So I went ahead to pin round from the sides, which is going to be the back panel, towards the armhole, the neckline, just everywhere else except from the bottom parts that we're going to be closing off with a bias. So this is how it's looking after I've pinned everything together and the strap is sandwiched inside. So I'm just going ahead to sew every side that I pinned together except from the opening parts, which is going to be at the bottom. And after I was done sewing everything out, this is what it is looking like. I went ahead to flip the fabric over. You can see that I notched the inside of the fabric, so I went ahead to flip it over. So after turning everything out, I decided to top stitch the neckline, the armhole part, so that it sits well on it, and I also gave it a good press. You're going to see as the video progresses. But after doing that, I also marked out where I wanted the panels for the boning to be, and I used the boning to mark it out so that the panel is not too big and not too small. It fits the boning perfectly. So I just did that in between the main fabric and the lining. I sewed that out, put the boning inside, and I'll also make sure to trim the edges of the boning and bond it. You can also use sellotape to do that if you want to be on a more safer side, because I've had bonings pop out of the clothes I've made before and it was not very fun. Anyway, just make sure you do that to make sure that the boning does not pop out of the clothes. So after doing that, I also went ahead to cut out a strap that I'm going to use to finish the bottom part of the corset. After I was done with all the sewing needed, I also marked out the panels where I want to put the eyelets inside, and I did that off camera. So you might be wondering, I said at the beginning of the video that I actually messed this project up. You might be wondering where the messed up happened. It actually happened from the very beginning, because instead of using my waist measurements as the circumference of all the measurements I used my bust instead, which was a big mistake because the bust is the biggest measurement and the corset was just too big. That shows that nobody is above mistake. And this is such a rookie mistake that I don't even make, but for some reason that happened. And honestly, it was fine. So I messaged my cousin and I told her, I asked her if she wanted the corset, and she was very, very happy to, collect the corset. And I did give it to my cousin. I did not show myself wearing it because I didn't like the way it was looking. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and just drop a comment down. If you have any questions, you can ask. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.